Hello and welcome back to the conversation Understanding Autism, proudly brought to you by Include You Africa. My name is Adichake, and today we are talking about common traits of autism. Now, I want you to understand that these traits are not all encompassing. So, when you begin to notice some of them, please do not self diagnose, kindly see a specialist. All right, let's get into it. Number one on my list is delayed speech or different communication patterns. Oftentimes, children with autism have delayed speech against their developmental stages. In the first video, we had talked about how that autism oftentimes starts as early as infancy, but they go undiagnosed, right? So when you see that against your child's developmental stage, their speech is probably delayed, is slurred, or in fact they have different languages for things, then it's important for you to see a specialist. Please do not panic. Second on my list is intense focus on interest. Autistic children oftentimes tend to have fixated interest. They just want to do one thing over and again. So you see that against playing amongst their peers, they're just interested in probably playing with just cars. They're probably interested in just trains, in just Legos, a kind of cartoon, or in fact, they can create their own playway method, and that is the only thing they do. So you find that when you try to introduce other playway methods to them, they are not accepting of it. They're just fixated on only that kind of interest. This is another trait with autistic children. Number 3, difficulty with social interaction. This is one that is quite interesting. Autistic children oftentimes do not maintain eye contact. Now, when you observe that children like that do not maintain eye contact, do not conclude that they are socially awkward. Remember, autism is just a different way of being, right? So, autistic children would not look at you in the eyes when you're talking. They will not even fixate their gaze on you. They'll just look away when you're speaking with them. They also like to self-isolate. They don't do well amongst crowd, and when you probably take them to the park to play with their pets, you see that they just isolate themselves and play by themselves. Yes, so this is another sign for you to look out for and the trait of autistic children. Number 4, repetitive behaviors. This is quite intertwined with the one we had talked about earlier, intense focus on interest. There is something we call stimming, right? You see the autistic children, they probably like to just play with their fingers. They like to run around in circle, and they're not missing it. They're just in that circle running around. Some like to walk on tippy toes so much that if you do not stop them, they're going to continue to do that over and over again. So when you find that they have repetitive behaviors, I think this is a signal for you to also see a specialist. Remember, do not self-diagnose. Now, last on my list is sensory sensitivity. In the earlier video, we talked about some autistic children being sensory sensitive and sensory seeking, right? It's quite different. So you see that their sensory sensitivity is really heightened. Some are very sensitive to sound. They are sensitive to even texture of clothes. You see that when you wear a kind of material on their body, they start to itch. They want to pull it off immediately. They are also sensitive to food. There are certain textures of food that they just do not find appealing. They can't understand it, and so they're not accepting of it. And these are some of the traits to look out for with autistic children. We're going to stop here today, and I want to encourage you to do something. Tell me in the comment section, have you learned something different about autism today? If so, let me know, and remember to share this video so you can sensitize and educate the community around you also. I'll see you in the next conversation on understanding autism in Africa.